in a minute.
Welcome to Breakfast with the Broker with Nikki Klein of the Brilliant team.
Oh yeah, okay. There we go, we did it.
Yes, we did. Pinkies up and all. So
Very British.
It is very British.
Like when you drink tea.
I don't. You see,
supposed to
my
put your pinky up.
finger is like like this.
Yeah, I'll take you to tea one day.
All right. I like beer.
Yeah.
English beer? No. All right. Certainly not at 9 in the morning. But thank you very much for joining us. We very much appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. So there's a lot of buzz around Nikki Klein and the Brilliant team. She obviously most of you have probably followed her. She's just a phenomenal agent, phenomenal person, and over the last couple of years, we've gotten to know each other professionally, and I'll tell you, very, very well respected, obviously, in the industry. Let's talk about how you really came up with, and maybe the makeup of the Brilliant team, and how you came up with that.
How I came up with the Brilliant team. Okay, so I was thinking of a way to kind of market my brand, but I didn't want it to be the Nikki Klein team, because I guess I wanted, I didn't want people to think, oh, I want to work with Nikki Klein. I wanted people to work with my standards, which would be comprised of the people that I chose to be on the team with and people who chose to be with me on my team. So Brilliant kind of struck out to me, because obviously the British part of it, and then also because it's such a play on words, like you can use it for everything. It's a brilliant day today.
Absolutely. So, what's the makeup of the team?
What's the makeup of my current team right now?
Yeah.
So I have a transaction coordinator, I have an admin, I have a marketing girl, and we have a couple of buyer agents. Okay.
And obviously you're probably looking to expand and such like this. And one of the things when you look at it's a really good point about, the Nikki Klein team or the Brilliant team is that, guess what? Eventually, you may want to retire at some point. And when you go to retire, it's very difficult to sell the Nikki team, or Nikki Klein team. It's a lot easier to sell the Brilliant team because certainly if you have your core beliefs entrenched in there and you're talented, you certainly it becomes saleable, and obviously like a business would.
Right.
And I think that's great. Now, are you looking to expand as far as buyer agents? And who was the first hire that you hired for Brilliant team?
Yes. So I definitely am looking to expand. I think that if we look at what's happening with the real estate industry in general, I do think that the single agent is going to become a thing of the past, because with technology and everything that's happening, people are going to be expecting, and also we want to provide a much more superior customer service experience, and it's going to be very difficult to do that as a single agent. So I think that teams are the way to go. It was one of the reasons that I decided to start my team. And did I answer your question? I don't even remember what you...
Yeah, no, we're good. No,
okay.
Absolutely.
All right, so yeah, so I want to make sure
we're expanding, we're growing, the Brilliant team's going
we wanna,
rockets.
Exactly. we want to provide the best possible customer service we can. That's the goal.
Great. And obviously your core beliefs are entrenched into that customer service. And and I think that, one of the things that we're looking forward for, they talk about disruptors and challenges in the industry that are coming. And, and a lot of times when I bring on agents, they're very dismissive of that, of those disruptors. And do you think that the disruptors, are going to change the industry, or are we changing it kind of going forward as well?
I think that there are definitely disruptors. I think technology is definitely the future. When you look at companies like Redfin and Open Door and Purple Brick, it's, these companies are trying to undercut what the agents are doing. And the reason they're doing that is to try and get us out of business, so that at some point they're going to be able to charge whatever they want, right?
Sure.
So they're trying to get us out of business. And then you look at the Zillows, the Trulias, and the Realtors.com, and those companies are trying to get agents to use their platforms end to end, so that eventually they get our databases and then they can push us out too. So I think it's really important. The one thing that they cannot do is provide the type of customer service that we can. So having those client events, making sure you call your database, those are the sorts of things that these companies aren't going to be able to do.
That's a good segue into, I mean, you built your business based on relationships. And relationships deal obviously with customer service, and that's why you have lots and lots of raving fans. I mean, when you look at, Nikki Klein and the Brilliant team, you also look at, all the, on Facebook and social media, you have all your customers chiming in, how great, best realtor in the world, all of that. So you've built that. How did you kind of entrench that kind of raving fan into? It's almost like a concert. You have groupies.
No, I don't know about that. I just honestly, I'm just extremely passionate about the business. I treat every client I treat every transaction as if it was my own, and I'm very conservative. So I like to negotiating.
Yeah, that's negotiate.
Yeah, so negotiating is really my passion and one of my strong points. So, when I go in, I'm very communicative with the clients. I make sure that they know exactly what's happening. I kind of try and predict what's going to happen before it happens, and I keep them in the loop with everything that's going on. So they really feel part of the process. And I think that's really important to make sure that everyone knows what's happening. Communication is key.
Yeah, managing clients' expectations is huge in this business.
Absolutely.
And we obviously, we all continue to try and do that.
Right.
Some expectations can't be met, but we certainly try.
Don't we know it?
Yes, we do.
But we try.
Yes, we do. And so, the challenges and disruptors that, that come out there that, like as we discussed, with the Zillow and the Purple Brick and whatnot, the one thing that I look at is, as you said, customer service, but the value that agents make is they can tell a story of an area, right? So, when you came over from England,
yes.
How did you prepare yourself for the real estate industry in that, you're coming to a new place. You have, I'm sure you had some friends and such like that, but, you built obviously a bigger database, but, what did you do to prepare and get the knowledge of the areas and be able to tell the stories of communities and homes and such like that?
That's a good question. I actually didn't come straight from England to here. I've been in the States since 1999, so that's why that's why I have the twang. I'm working on
the
it though.
Southern twang?
The New York twang.
Oh, okay.
I lived in New York for like 13 years. So basically, going to open houses, going to homes that are vacant, researching communities online, and also just being out in the field and taking buyers around, and you really get to know those communities when you're out there. But it's really important to educate yourself on those communities.
It is, and when we discuss with new agents or even experienced agents coming into a newer area, the thing that they can't replace. There's a lot of venture capital, and they could buy people, they could buy customers, they could buy agents, but what they can't buy is the story of the home. And with the AI and all of this artificial intelligence and putting together these computer programs that are gonna they're gonna put robots and open doors and all that stuff. They can't tell the story of the home. They could try to, but they can't certainly.
And I also think that there are some people who want hand holding. Sure. I mean, this is a huge transaction for most people. It's the most expensive purchase or sale that they're ever going to make. I don't know that I would necessarily want to do that with a robot.
Right? No.
So, having somebody that knows what they're doing, somebody experienced, somebody that's going to be able to guide you, that's not replaceable.
I mean, sometimes it's kind of nice talking to a robot when they don't talk back.
Yeah.
Sometimes the customers have opinions and they talk.
And the customer's always right.
100%.
Yeah.
So, going on kind of the 3 to 5 year outlook on, what we see in the real estate industry. And I always ask this question because, I like to hear other people's another point of view. Where do you think that the real estate market in Boca Raton and South Florida, what are we going to see?
So, we're already seeing a slight shift in the market. I'm not sure that we're going to, and if you saw my video yesterday, I'm not sure that we're going to have a huge bubble. I was actually speaking with Matt Weaver from Cross Country yesterday. We were having a bit of a mastermind about where we think the market's going to go. These crashes happen they're cyclical, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it depends on a lot of things, but in Boca specifically, we're looking at like 2024 is what Matt and I were discussing, is probably going to be the time to watch the market, and maybe we're going to see some not such positive real estate.
That's
bit of a downturn.
That's certainly far out. I mean, we're talking about 6 years, but
exactly.
But we're also talking. They talk about the student loan crisis and things that are going to put pressure on prices. Obviously, interest rates climbing. They seem to climb and then they come down, and people have no idea why.
Yeah.
They just start to come down. So
but I think they're going to be going up.
Yeah. No. I mean, we've been saying this.
I wouldn't be surprised if next year they'd be in the 6s.
Yeah. So, which would obviously in the short term would get buyers off the fence.
Right.
But in the long term is going to put pressure on the prices.
Correct.
Here. And, let's get back to kind of when as far as your Brilliant team, right?
Yes.
So, I know that you are very big into, Facebook and your groups and those kind of things. Like, I think it was a Boca Moms Connect.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think that was brilliant because, that really put together a close-knit group of moms that, really, I mean, women tend to make the decision.
We're trying.
We just try. We think that we wear the pants, but there's absolutely zero chance. Yeah,
you totally wear the pants.
No. Yeah, that's what my wife says all the time, and I know that's not true. I know that's not true. But what made you decide to come up with that group?
So I'm a big connector. I really like bringing people together. So that was one of the reasons. Since I've started, one of the reasons I went into real estate is because I was trying, and this is another reason why I started my team, because, I was looking for something more. I was 35 when I started 4 years ago. So I'm turning 21 at the end of the year. I was in this phase of life that I have 3 kids, drinking Starbucks, wearing yoga pants, just wasn't fulfilling enough for me. So I wanted to find something where I could really find some personal growth. And so I love helping people, decided to go into real estate. And then my thought process was, let's start a group so that we can connect people, and then I can help connect people with real estate. And it just kind of snowballed from there. So it's...
I do the Starbucks thing. I try the yoga pants, but it really doesn't work. No, it doesn't work well. Okay. I don't think they make them in my sizes.
I don't wear them anymore either, so no. But it's been an incredible journey, really, the personal and professional growth. I think if people go into this business just for people go into this business for the money, then they're in it for the wrong reasons. If they, when we're looking for talent for our team, you have to be humble and compassionate and giving, and you have to want to be able to help the community. It's really a big part of who we are, and we work together, and the personal growth that I've seen on people in our team has just been phenomenal as well. It's
great. I mean,
I
mean, one of the first things I was ever taught from my mom, who's been in the business until recently for a very long time. I won't give her age away, but she always said, never think about the money. No. And as you're in a real estate transaction, I think that's very important to not think about the money, because what happens is once you think about the money, it's gone.
Yeah.
And you're not helping the consumer. If you help and you give back and you, like you said, connect the community.
The money will come. I mean,
100%.
Yeah, it's not.
100%.
Yeah, it's about helping people. Honestly, that's how I feel.
And lastly, so
Yes.
you talk about helping the community, and I see you out there obviously a lot. Are there specific charities or things that you do or contribute to community activities, things that you may be passionate about that we'd like to learn about, Nikki Klein?
Sure. So we are actually starting this year. It's called Brilliant Kids in Action. And we're basically going to be giving back to the community. We're approaching schools, and we're going to be doing an after-school program that helps kids basically understand what community service is, get integrated into the community, give back, and just really, when I have my Boca Mom events too, we ask people to bring stuff for various organizations. So we do. It depends. I don't have a specific organization. Brilliant Kids in Action is going to be, a big piece of our organization. But, just in general, we want to help as much as we can. And if anyone needs our help, please reach out to the Brilliant team, because we'd like to help. We want to be there to help. So.
Yeah, it's all about professionalism and collaboration, and that's what Breakfast
Thank
with the
you
Broker
for really reaching out and being there for the community, because you're really one of the big reasons that you're bringing these agents together, and it's really huge to be able to network with our peers and brainstorm and mastermind, and it's all because of you bringing it together. It's awesome, really. It's really awesome.
No, thank you. Very much appreciate it. And yeah, it is about professionalism and collaboration. And I think last week when we were talking with Matt Masser off camera, he was talking about how attorneys would fight all day, and then at the after 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, whatever, they would go out and have happy hour and drink and not worry about excluding competition and things like that. And when you go out, it's like, well, is another realtor going to be there? Like, when you go into these networking events, like, it doesn't matter. Like,
No.
we're all,
There's like, what, 1.9 million people in Palm Beach County or something like that. I think we can all get a piece of the pie.
Right. There's about 1.8 million realtors, but
well, that's true. That is true. But if they all joined a team, like the Brilliant team,
that is true.
All work together.
You would want to manage 1.8 people.
Yeah.
1.8 million people. Yeah. It's hard enough managing 5.
Yeah.
So very much appreciate it. I do want to give a little shout out to Brian Bowles, who actually is in the hospital. He has a little heart thing that hopefully he gets better very quickly, and hopefully he's watching, because it's a shout out, and Brian, get better.
Get better soon.
Absolutely. So Nikki, thank you so much for joining us. I
Thanks
appreciate
for having
it.
me.
So Breakfast with the Broker, Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Next week is going to be Amy Snook. We all know Amy Snook. She's very involved in the Women's Council of Realtors.
We need more women, by the way.
100%.
Seriously,
Actually,
there are not enough women leaders in this business.
Agreed.
We need
it used to, in all honesty, and going
and
into
Amy's
that.
awesome, so definitely tune in for that.
Going into that, the realtors were a lot of women, and then somehow some men came in the business and such, and then now the women are kicking the men out. So it's,
good. It's not easy being a woman in business. Let me tell you.
It isn't. And I'm totally being long-winded, but there was actually kind of a little. I'll tell a little story that was a little scary. So last week, I had a buyer call me. And that buyer, we had a safety class. Laura Sellers taught one a safety class like the week before. And had I not gone to that class, I don't think I would have reacted the same way. And I'm a big guy, obviously, but I'm still scared of guns. So buyer calls me out of the blue, wants to see my $1.4 million listing. I asked him some qualifying questions. They give me okay answers, and we set up the appointment. They come at 10:30 in the morning. They come in a very beat up Nissan Altima, and she never mentioned that someone else was coming with her, and so it was 2 women. They did not look the part. That doesn't mean that they couldn't have purchased it, but when I asked them questions, proof of funds, oh yeah, what banks, they stumbled on the bank that they use, why are they here? And then they were giving me very vague answers. And actually, it was a little scary. So I open the front door, leave the door open. They walk in, and I'm like, I'm going to leave the front door open. I'm going to stand right at the front door. And so instead of going to the master bedroom or the kitchen or the backyard, they decide to go down the hallway to the garage. And they try and keep getting me there. They're like, oh, Dave, what's this? What's this?
Yeah.
Dave, come here. I have to show you something. And it was like really weird.
Okay.
Had I not gone to that class, I probably would have just wandered back there, no issues. But my guard was up.
That's good.
And it's a scary thing. It's not just women that could be scared or men. It's
you got to trust your instincts.
100%. So fortunately we got them out of there quickly. So.
Next time, bring them in for a buyer consultation.
I know. You believe me, I know.
You don't take anybody out without a buyer consultation.
And that was one of the things.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. And we do have to keep our guard up because there's some crazy people out there, and bringing them to the office certainly would have prevented that. Absolutely. So, lesson totally learned. and I'm still here doing breakfast with the broker, so that's good.
There you go. Thank goodness.
Yeah, no memorial services for me, so that's good. Anyway, breakfast with the broker, Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and Nikki, all the best.
Thank you.
I think you're great, and so do they.
Oh, okay.
Take care. Thanks.